Slashing by 195 million of the KwaZulu-Natal Education Department's pupil transport budget has been slammed by lobby groups. They're saying this will limit access to education and put pupils' lives at risk. So to discuss this even further, I'm now joined by KwaZulu-Natal Education Spokesperson Muzi Mahlambi. Joins me this morning right here on Newslink. And thank you so much for your time, Muzi. Good morning to you. Perhaps, place us into your confidence behind this decision. Yes, against lobby groups calling against the slashing of the transport budget. But what was the rationale behind the KZN Department of Education in making this decision?
Good morning and morning to your viewers at home. First of all, the narrative that we are constantly driving is that there is no decision that was taken by the province of KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education. But what has happened, the right context within which this should be read and interpreted, is that there are budget cuts determined by Treasury. Treasury will, for instance, determine a certain percentage to say across the board in terms of the national departments and provincial departments. This is the percentage that I want to retrieve from you so that we can help government to fund other programs. Then they will, with that determined percentage, CFOs will then implement that across the board. That will affect all programs of the departments, not only Department of Education. In Department of Education alone, we have school nutrition that we wanted to introduce breakfast to all our feeding schools, but we can only do that with the primary schools. When it comes to ICT rollout, we cannot now fully roll it out to all the targeted schools, the number that we had. When it comes to stationery, those are all the programs that are going to be affected. So lobby groups have selected to just amplify the scholar transport one, whereas if you go to health, for instance, they will tell you how the budget cuts are affecting them, and all other departments, their respective programs have been affected by these budget cuts.
So Muzi, are you then saying that the decision hasn't been taken yet? Is that what you're saying is the narrative that you want to clarify, that the decision hasn't been, the ink hasn't necessarily dried on paper?
What we want to clarify is that it's not a decision to say cut scholar transport budget. It's a cut across all programs, and scholar transport is one of them. So we are surprised why lobby groups want to select only this one. And another clarity that you must give is that this does not mean that the learners who are already benefiting come the reopening of schools, they will be disadvantaged. What it does is that if we wanted to add the number of beneficiaries, we cannot do that due to budget cuts.
So then what happens to those learners that you cannot accommodate due to these budget cuts? What happens to them?
We'll continue to engage Treasury and explain to them the ramification of these budget cuts, more especially when it comes to this program. And lobby groups can then assist by going to Treasury and raise this matter. It's a matter that affects all departments and all programs that the government has.
I suppose, Muzi, my question to you is, as the KZN Education Department, are you waiting for this problem to arise, this challenge with the pupils to arise before raising it with Treasury? Or is it a matter of an opportunity arising to prevent it from occurring by already engaging with lobby groups to support you as a department to say, let's avoid any pupil, even for a single day, being affected by this budget cut?
The baseline research and the data that lobby groups and everyone is talking to It's information that we gathered ourselves, is information that we share with the oversight committees, be it legislature, be it portfolio committees, national and provincial, to say these are so many learners that are in need of this program, and this is so much that we will want to have. The mere fact that this money was allocated and was affected by the budget cuts, it's an indication that a submission from us had been made to say if we were to add beneficiaries to this program, this is so much we need, and this is so many learners that it will assist in terms of adding them as beneficiaries.
All right, we'll leave it there. Muzi Mahlambi, thank you so much for speaking to me. KZN Education Department spokesperson, speaking around the budget cut, not only to the transport or the education transport benefiting pupils in KwaZulu-Natal, but he says it's across the board. And however, they are willing to engage with lobby groups should there be any learners that are affected by these cuts, perhaps to present those presentations to Treasury.